Good morning, class. I hope you all are healthy, safe at home, and studying well. So, today we'll start the new book that is Democratic Politics number 1, means first part, and second part you studied in 10th class. So, here generally the very first term, because we people are living in a democratic country, so here we start with the chapter definition and simultaneously the conversation between the teacher and students. So we will try to know the meaning of democracy. What do you mean by democracy? Generally these are very simple terms when we belong to a country which is democratic country, but sometimes we need some definition. We see need some authenticity, like how do we know them that is particular term is we are following. So here, because in this conversation we will know about that what is the need of democracy. So here we'll see that, and we'll discuss certain facts which are related to democracy and why we need democracy in our country, and what is the need of a definition while we are living in a country where democracy, since our birth we are following this kind of system. So you have already read about the different forms of government. On the basis of your understanding of democracy so far, mentioning a few examples, write down some common features of democratic governments, non-democratic governments. So generally this question or this particular term, these term you will experience in the chapter, and you must know what is democratic government and what is non-democratic government. Non-democratic means which are not democratic government. So let's begin. Why define democracy? Means, as I told you, what is the need of definition of democracy? So before we proceed to further, let us first take note of an objection by Mary. She does not like this way of defining democracy, as wants ask some basic questions. Her teacher, Matilda Lindo, responds to her questions, and other classmates join the discussion. So let's see. Mary, ma'am, I don't like this idea. First, we spend time discussing democracy, then we want to find the meaning of democracy. I mean, logically, shouldn't we have approached it the other way of round? Shouldn't the meaning have come first and then the example? Means, like, I want to tell you about this particular ambiguous question, because now the first chapter which you had earlier in this book, this was the contemporary world tour stories, and in that particularly we read about Chile and Poland and some other countries where democracy, firstly they had democracy, and sometimes it is restored by somewhere by the people. So what had happened in those countries regarding that, this question comes around, like why it had happened. Firstly we are discussing the stories, and after that we are asking about the definition. Generally what happens, children, you know that whenever we write any question, firstly we start with definition. This is the particular definition, and then we answer that, then we put forward example to prove that definition. But it is the contrary in that particular situation. Firstly we read the chapter about the stories, and then in this chapter, that is now become first chapter, earlier it was second chapter of your book, now here the definition is given. So she is asking the same question, that firstly we have taken the example and now the definition or meaning we are going to understand. So Lindo madam says that I can see your point. She says that she understands what she is saying about, but this is the not how we reason. In everyday life we use words like pen, rain, love. Means generally some are the things like we use every day, but it is not meaning that we must know the definition of them, or we start defining them, that what is pen, what is love, what is rain. So do we wait for the definition of these words before we use them? Come to think of it, do we have clear definition of these words? It is only by using a word and we understand its meaning. Means when we have a pen, we automatically know that what is the use of pen, we are writing, how the rain is. So generally these are very simple words. From our childhood or from our birth, we people are able to understand all these words. So Mary, But then why do we need of definition at all? Means why it is the need of definition, that first we understand the definition, then we will know about the rule regulations. So, Lindo madam, we need a definition only when we come across the difficulty to use the word, and we need the definition of rain only when it wish to distinguish it from. Means rain, everyone knows what is rain, but when we try categorize it, or you can say separately, you want to say, means rain can be of any, like it can be say drizzle, it can be cloud burst, it can be heavy rainfall, like all. So the same true is in the democracy. We need a clear definition only because people use it different purposes, because very different kinds of government call themselves democracy. You know, in the world, many countries which are not democratic, but they claim that they are democratic country, but system is totally different in their governance of government. Like, so Ribank, another boy, he's involved in that discussion. But why do we need to work on our definition? So the other way you quoted Abraham Lincoln to us, means one of the very famous definition you must have heard, that he has given democracy is the government of people, by the people, of the people, for the people. We in Meghalayas always rule ourselves, that is accepted by everyone. Why do we need change for that? This is particular the question of time when Meghalaya particularly was having its people government. They were according to themselves were ruling there. So, Lindo madam, I am not saying we need to change it. I too this find definition very beautiful. So, but we don't know if this is the best way of defining unless we think about it ourselves. We must accept something just because it is famous, because it is accepted by everyone. Yeah, it is accepts. So, Yolanda, another child, she is talking about, Madam, can't I suggest something? We don't need to look any definition. I read somewhere that word democracy comes out from the work democratica. She is telling about, she read from somewhere कि this word has come from a Greek word that is democratica. That is, demo means people, kratika means rule. So this is the meaning of definition. This is the definition. So there is no need of definition according to her. So democracy is ruled by the people. So this is the correct meaning, and where is the need of debate. Now Lindo ma'am explains again, that is also very helpful way of thinking about this matter. I would suggest say that this does not always work. A word does not remain tied to its origin. Just think of computers, origin that they use for computing, that is to say calculating. Very difficult mathematical sums, means here the explanation is that it is not meaning that whatever the word particularly is made for, and people are accepting and following the same. Like computer, when we talk about earlier, when computer was invented, it's made, so it means is that firstly the use of that computer was to calculation. But now you can see in today's scenario what is happening, that everything is based on computer. So what we do with computer, you can understand, designing, listening music and watching films, words remain the same, but the meaning can change with the time. So democracy, though we know it is derived from the Greek language, but now the totally its meaning has been changed. So in the cases, it is not very useful to look at the origins of a word Mary. Ma'am, so basically what you are saying, that is no shortcut of our thinking about the matter of ourselves. We have to think about its meaning and evolve the definition. Madam Indo, you got me right. Let us go on with now. So ultimately this particular conversation ends with the definition, means definition is very necessary to understand democracy. So to understand any kind of topic, the definition is very much important in the current scenario, whatever the present situation are for a country. So till here we'll discuss in this video. Next video I take a simple definition. What is the definition of that? Okay.